Mercedes has a tendency to start the season as underdogs, which is something we've learned over the past couple of seasons. Whether Wolff said they weren't completely satisfied with their car or Hamilton said Vettel's dominance might make the F1 world drowsy, Mercedes constantly disappoints those who anticipate them to do poorly. But in the first half of the season, arrives and destroys the grid. During the 2023 season, everything will stay the same, but the fact that Mercedes was the underdog for the first time in 2022 gives us the benefit of the doubt. So, it is necessary to inquire, is Mercedes again engaging in one of its cunning tricks? Mercedes playing the underdog position may seem grating and repetitive to certain fans, but that is undoubtedly untrue. Fans in the squad are going into the season with lower expectations because the team has publicly said they're not expected to win the championship. The atmosphere surrounding the unveiling of the brand new W14 looked to be a change from the norm. There seemed to be more caution, which confirmed rumors that its performance would not be as strong as some of the admirers may have thought. Yet, one couldn't help but notice that bluffing can only get you so far when Mercedes is winning everything there is to win. However, Wolff's predictions that Mercedes will have a difficult season in 2022 have come true for the first time. The issue reappeared when Wolff provided a comparative assessment for the 2023 season. Has Mercedes hit the jackpot with the W14, or will they have trouble keeping up with the top two teams and depend on Ferrari and Red Bull's unreliability to win any race? Hamilton's viewpoint will come after thoroughly reviewing Wolff's statement regarding the forthcoming season. Let's have a look at what they had to say initially. Mercedes plans to bring back the black livery for the 2023 season, thanks to its support for diversity in 2020 and 2021. The public and fans have warmly received this, but Mercedes will bring it back in 2023 for other reasons. While the team continues to embrace diversity, they are now more concerned with losing weight. Hamilton and Russell will be driving one of the most exquisite vehicles in Formula One history. Wolff disagrees though, and the club has significantly advanced its chances of winning the championship. Despite his appreciation for all the upgrades and his comment that they will be more competitive, he doesn't think Mercedes has what it takes to reclaim what was perhaps rightfully theirs in 2021. As Brundle claimed, "We're not getting ready to start the season. I see so much effort, motivation, and energy in the organization to launch a car that will eventually be competitive enough to fight at the front of the grid." Eventually is the word that sticks and nags in the fans' ears and eyes. Also, Wolff was questioned by the media about his word choice and asked if, by using the term eventually, he's once again approaching the 2023 season as an underdog. He said, "I contemplated that word for 15 minutes when we discussed the press release. On the one hand, you want to see that we will be competitive. On the other hand, you need to stay humble and realistic. So you could say, I hope that we will be competitive, and the midway going around the house's way says we will be competitive, we just don't know when, and so eventually." Wolff has additionally lauded the fact that the team's performance is on the decline. Nevertheless, he must be aware of other teams' locations. He desires to remain modest because of this. Due to the disastrous 2022 season that he and his squad had, he wants his team to approach the 2023 season with this mentality. Lewis Hamilton, on the other hand, is a different story. The driver is unquestionably one of the best to compete in the sport, and the driver who is just one lap away from winning the 9th championship-breaking record. He is different from the kind of driver to declare his intention to win the championship before the season begins. Since he's yet to do so since Mercedes began winning championships with 5 or 6 races left in the season, this is not the case now. Yet his caution is now incredibly contagious as he had the first winless season of his career. And if you pay close attention to his remarks, you'll hear him use the words potential and hopefully far more often than in the past. Hamilton added that when talking about the 2023 season, "We have the potential to be close. Hopefully we will be closer, and hopefully we will have the potential to close the gap early on in the season." Toto Wolff, the team principal, hailed Hamilton's surge from 19th to 5th place as proof that they finally have a car capable of competing with Red Bull and Ferrari at the front of the grid and winning the championship. After Ferrari's Charles Leclerc failed to finish due to a power unit malfunction, Red Bull's Max Verstappen took a 6-point lead in the title battle. Behind him, however, Mercedes had by far their finest performance of the season. Britain's George Russell finished 3rd after a spirited performance complemented by Wolff, and Hamilton performed another spectacular comeback effort. The 7-time champion charged through the field, believing his speed would have been enough to threaten the Red Bulls if he hadn't slipped back after being clipped by Kevin Magnussen on the first lap. One of the best things ever to happen to Mercedes was Russell, if not the best, back in 2022. Even he is not certain that Mercedes won't encounter the same setbacks that befell them in 2022, saying, "We feel like we've done everything possible with what we know, but as we learned last year, there are sometimes curveballs, and you only learn from these experiences. Are we going to get another curveball thrown at us? Who knows? We're not sure." Nobody is criticizing Mercedes for exercising caution. This is a result of what they went through the previous year. The rookie outclassed the 7-time world champion, and they only managed one victory in 2022. Who would have foreseen such a decline in performance with new tactical regulations for a squad competing for a championship just 2 years prior? Yet, Mercedes is prepared to erase the memories a W13 has given them with a creative and strong design as they approach the new season. According to reports, developments have been made in the power unit industry. Even though he had several problems in the initial test at Silverstone, a W14 was empowered for 10 raw horsepower. Reports, however, also claim that the engine's placement, rather than its performance, was the actual cause of the issue, so there's no need for the team's supporters to be substantially concerned. One thing that has become clear from the stories is that the Brackley wind tunnel didn't produce the outcomes that Mercedes would have liked. And if it proves true, this might cause them significant harm. But in the past, reports similar to this have appeared more regularly, yet Mercedes seems to have discovered a magical solution to every one of its problems. Except for the porpoising and the deficit in 2022. Therefore, we'd have to wait until the only pre-test in Bahrain to determine whether they're playing the underdog game again. Last year's Test 2 upgrade package demonstrated that promising theoretical results from a wind tunnel do not necessarily translate to the racetrack, and instead prove to be slower due to the porpoising effect. Motorsport.com questioned George Russell over the rumors of less than optimistic wind tunnel results in the early season change in side pod design, raising concern about the launch spec car, and the Brit's response was very diplomatic. When talking about this matter, he said, "I think we've seen it in several seasons now at Mercedes, just how well the team develops a car throughout a season. I think, fortunately, with how the calendar has panned out, it gives the teams chances to develop without a huge number of races in a certain period. There are improvements that we assure are going to make the car faster. The car is going to be lighter than what we saw last year. That is definite lap time. We know that. Mercedes is currently playing the guessing game precisely, and they've done this so well in prior seasons. Nonetheless, this is the team's first time to reflect on a losing campaign. We would give them a lot of credit and praise for them improving one of the worst vehicles to ever come off the assembly line if they were to solve the W14 problem and compete for the title. It became one of the most popular cars in just a few months, given that they converted one of the grid's most successful cars into one of the worst ones when the 2021 season concluded and the 2022 season began. It would be absurd enough, but that has already passed. Charles Leclerc believes that Mercedes will contend for the Formula One title against Red Bull and Ferrari in 2023, and that Lewis Hamilton can spearhead their recovery since the renowned driver still has it. What is anticipated for us is a competitive Mercedes with two excellent drivers who can unquestionably establish that the events of 2022 were just a temporary downturn, and not a reflection of the team's current physical and psychological philosophy. What do you think of the psychological tricks that Mercedes employs? Do you believe that now they have a competitive car, they'll play the underdog game again? Let us know in the comment section down below. We hope to see you next time. Bye.